Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. We're going to take about 30 minutes of your life to deliver some amazing content from accomplished leaders, business owners, to provide you some great Ironman mindsets to help you scale your business, to become a better leader and push yourself out of a comfort zone into something that's going to stretch you. We hope you really enjoy these shows and encourage you to like and share with your friends, your network, family members. Try and get a wider audience and improve our industry. On each show, I'm going to try and pull out one type of Ironman mindset, insight that you can take back to your business. And if you're implementing one insight every single week or all the shows, then it's going to make a dramatic improvement to your business. Super excited as well to share that we're partnering up with Boss Business Management Software, which is the ultimate cloud-based solution providing comprehensive insights and tools to optimize performance. Join the Boss community today and transform your business so you too can say, my boss is working for me. Cheers, everyone. Hi, this is Robert Clickybeard with the Commercial Landscaper Podcast. Really excited today to be joined again by Billy Otteman. Billy, good to see you again. I know you were on the show couple years ago. We were just talking offline there, but I'm sure there's a lot of people in the audience who have not heard of you. So maybe we could just get you to do another intro in your background, if that's cool.
Certainly, yes. Thanks for having me back. I was on the show 2 years ago, 2.5 maybe at this point when I had first joined the company. But I am from Scythe Robotics. We are making and designing fully autonomous, all-electric commercial mowers. Our single product now is M.52. It's a 52-inch commercial mower that is battery powered and can mow and operate around obstacles in certain mow zones as you set and integrate it into your operations. So we can talk more about the product and how it works moving forward, but I lead all of our brand and marketing work, our customer work. I'm the VP of brand and customer. So kind of everything customer and industry facing. It's been a really exciting couple of years at Scythe as we've started to work and integrate into the green industry and really lead a lot of the technological change that is coming fast and coming furious, but it's really exciting to see this level of innovation and adoption in the industry, which had historically been a little more slow moving, starting to see beyond just robotics, the impact that technology can have. So we're headquartered in Longmont, Colorado, which is right outside Boulder. That's where we are not only kind of running our operations, but are producing the machine as well. Our manufacturing facility is at our headquarters where we are currently up and running in a production run of the latest generation of M.52 and working to wrap that in the next few months here before we start another one later this fall.
Well, thank you again for joining us. I know we were talking offline there, but obviously since it's been a couple of years, probably a lot has happened in those 2 years. Just start off with just telling us about some of either the progress you've been seeing within your company, your products, or even just the marketplace. I know that's a big question, but we'll just start down that path right now.
Yeah, certainly. I think when I joined the company, when I joined Scythe 3 years ago, was when we had just launched the brand. So introduced the company and the mower to the industry. The company had been in development, doing R&D, working with some industry partners, some contractors to get very specific input and feedback through testing, through iteration, and then we launched the brand in 2021 with the kind of first iteration of the machine. Still a prototype at that point, but it was really great to get the machine out in front of folks and to start mowing with customers, having contractors use the machine, paying for the mowing service and for the machine, and then being able to provide input that makes the machine better. At that point, to speak to the industry at large, the conversation has changed radically. When we launched the brand at first, it was novel, it was new, it was a little uncertain. Prove to me robots are real. What is this? Is this really going to happen? To now the conversation is not prove to me this is going to work. It's how fast can I get this? How fast can I get one of these? How is this going to impact my business? And where can I sign up? Which is fantastic. But so over those few years, we have now produced 2 more generations of the machine, just increasing step change improvements in the durability and reliability of the machine, the performance of the autonomy, and then the battery performance as well. Those are probably kind of the 3 biggest increases in performance we've seen over generations since we launched the business. And now, as we look at Scythe in 2024, this has been a really exciting season, our biggest season yet, as we've been moving from prototype to pre-production to now mass-produced units in the field. In the last few weeks, weeks, we hit 100 employees at Scythe. So we're now over 100 employees. I was number 25 3 years ago. We hit unit number 100 of this generation of the production of the machine. So the latest generation of the machine, which we started production of earlier this year, we've now produced 100 of that unit. We've got another 50-ish to go for this production run. We are now mowing across 12 states, which is really exciting. So we were originally just focused on Texas, Colorado, and Florida, which is where our operations have historically been. And as we launched this latest generation of the machine, focused there first early in the season, but saw such great performance and such high durability and reliability that gave us confidence to expand further. So we started going into new regions and started fulfilling some of our earliest reservations. We've had a reservations list that's thousands of units long, but folks that have been on our reservations the longest, we've started to be able to fulfill those first units and work with some of our earliest partners. So overall, it's been a really exciting season for us as we've mowed more than ever before. Just last week, we hit 1 billion square feet mowed. Wow. With M.52. So awesome. Yeah, there's some pretty significant growth. And as we translate that then to the industry at large, all of this is taking place at the same time as a lot of contractors and landscape businesses are becoming more technologically sophisticated faster than any market I've seen before. I came from outside of the green industry, working in marketing and innovation consulting. And I haven't seen change like this in a marketplace, adoption this fast and this furious, folks as eager to integrate tech tools, both autonomous robots, electric equipment, but then you start thinking about software solutions to run more effectively and more efficiently, some of the other kind of technological solutions that can really increase efficiencies and productivity at large. We've got a big shift in the industry. M.52 is just one of the many pieces driving that change.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there about, putting the mowing robotics aside, when you actually think about it, not only are you dealing with different changes in technology, so the innovation piece, but, you're also scaling a business, maybe outgrowing your premises, dealing with all of the staffing issues. So, and then going to multiple states. Yeah. So, that's a challenge in itself. You must see lots of challenges internally. You're obviously trying to deliver this amazing product out in the field as well. It must be tough trying to deal with all those different moving parts.
Yeah, sometimes, Robert, it feels like there's just challenges at every angle. If it's not the people growth and the culture change from growing so large, it's the supply chain, and then it's customer adoption, and it is. But that's what excited me about the opportunity that I had joining the company, is really to build and grow something unique, build and grow something in a space that's hungry for change and innovation. And you think about how far we've come. 100 mowers in the field this year is our target, and that's nothing compared to some of the big incumbent brands that are, hundreds of years old and have been producing for ages. But for us, it's really significant, and it's exciting to see that progress and to be able to build and change like that, and really kind of balance a lot of these issues that, frankly, a lot of our customers face as well. We get to sit in and get to participate in different events, conferences. We were just at the Thought Leaders Retreat with Wilson 360. And as contractors talk about the challenge of finding the right people, retaining the right people, maintaining culture as you grow, opening new markets. It's a lot of the same challenges. We're just building robots versus offering mowing services to clients and customers. But it is, you've got your product, you've got your service, and you've got everything else that goes into it. And the customers don't always see that. They don't always understand all of the work that goes into providing that. And at the end of the day, like most of our customers as well, the main goal is to create an amazing, impactful product, or in the case of the contractor, amazing, impactful service that delights the end client and has a meaningful, that is a meaningful solution for them. And so that's what we just continue to double down on through these problems, through the challenges. How do we best serve the client and the customer, and how do we best improve the product to be able to do that?
Taking on that, part of the conversation, it's super important, obviously, to get feedback from your customers, your clients, and then put that through some type of filter. It happens with any business, whether you have your own landscape company or any other contractor business. Trying to get in front of the right people Obviously you've got the decision makers who make the decision to go ahead and purchase an asset, purchase a machine, but then, it might be somebody different from actually operating it and getting feedback from the field. So how do you get that type of regular feedback? Do you have a system in place, or what were some of the tools used?
Yeah, much like many of the relationships contractors have with their clients, it's really similar. It's really based in relationship building. This is such a relational industry, and it's really important to have strong, open communication with clients and customers. And so that's something that we strive to do at Scythe. Every contractor deploying M.52 has a dedicated account manager, and that account manager works with the landscape company on a couple different ways, both on the leadership side to make sure that leadership has the right buy-in on using this machine, understands where it can be used and how it can be used most effectively across their organization, most impactfully giving guidance on who in the organization is the right type of person to be operating and deploying this machine. But then that starts to trickle down to then the operator level. You might have great buy-in at the leadership level, but how do you get that machine utilized? So you start to see ROI on the front line and with the crew. And so our account managers also work in the field and go into the field. Implementation is a multi-day process where we get the mowers out with crews, get crews trained up on the machine, help them feel comfortable with it, show them how to use it. The machine itself is pretty easy to use. You learn pretty quick how to set a mow zone. It starts mowing on its own, can dodge obstacles. If there's obstacles you want to make sure it avoids or areas you don't want it to go, you can set no-go zones. And so that's, if it's a tree that's too small for the robot to detect, maybe it's a new sapling or there's a wet area you don't want the mower to go that day, you can set areas that it won't mow. But the real learning curve, or where you really start to see the impact, is then how do you operationalize that across the whole workflow, and how do you create on a job site, on a property, the most productive use of time of the crew? How do you set up mow zones and no-go zones in a way that is going to run in parallel with the crew on site doing other work, the edging, the trimming, the cleanup, and really maximizing that productivity of not just the mower, but the crew at large? And so our account managers work closely in the field with operators to help them understand how to best set up mow zones, what mow zones are going to be the fastest and most efficient to do, what areas do you want to avoid, what obstacles might make the robot slow down and think a little too much, and can we just set them aside in a no-go zone and then move forward with that? So kind of the kind of top to bottom buy-in is really critical, and we just establish that through regular and consistent communication, figuring out what type of communication works best with leadership. Is it emails? Is it phone calls? Often with the crews, it's just showing up in the field and working with them. And then depending on the size of the organization, there's a middle level that's really critical as well, kind of that production manager, branch manager level, helping them understand where the machines are being utilized, how they can be utilized better, and providing data to drive those decisions. Our machines provide an incredible amount of detail from the field. You can get, honestly, stripe by stripe detail within each mow zone to see how the machine is performing and how fast it is. You can see autonomous versus manual usage. And so we are able to surface that data to our customers, and really in that kind of middle management level, help them figure out how to better use the machine. So, we've noticed some of our customers, they're mowing maybe 70 to 80% manually. But when we look at the data and we look at the areas they're mowing, it looks like, there's a solid half of that manual usage that could be mowed autonomously. It's a good fit for autonomous mowing as it is today. So it's really about presenting that data and having that conversation to give that guidance and say, this is kind of what we're seeing. Here's how we would recommend setting up these job sites and working with that flow. And so it really is about partnership. It's about providing that data. Everyone, on the leadership and middle management level has access to that data themselves, but we also go into those conversations with recommendations on how to best utilize the machine and how to get the team on board from top to bottom, because that's where you really start to see the biggest productivity gains. That's where you start to see the impact, and having that relationship and the ability to do that is really critical. And our account managers are, they're trained heavily on the machine. They know it really well, but they also have a great understanding of landscape operations. Many of them come with landscape backgrounds, and those that haven't spend a week at least in the field when they first join the company using and mowing with the machine themselves, and then go through several rounds of training to better learn the industry as well, so that they can provide that expert perspective on how to use the machine within the context of landscape operations.
Best practices, how important is it to not only create best practices, but then constantly review them?
Oh, it's critical. I mean, with just like introducing any tool there like this, there are best practices. That was really the main objective for us this season, as we've deployed with dozens of customers, to build that playbook of how now when we do start to scale and we get into the thousands of units in the next couple of years, how do we build those best practices and help people kind of deploy this technology with the least amount of disruption as possible, because these operations run like well-oiled machines. The clock is ticking, everything is in its place, and that's what it needs to be. So how do we fit into that without causing too much disruption?
And then going back to your data collection piece. I mean, obviously, data collection for you at Scythe is critical. How can I improve our machines, slice and dice that data, and help it make improvements? But how does that then translate for landscape contractors, where they may not necessarily be able to collect that data, analyze it? They might not have the right people in their team to be able to utilize that data. And I think that not only applies with what you're doing, but other technology out there or software, that there's all this different data coming in, but sometimes you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that we do. First, there's the account manager role, which again is, I already mentioned, but really important for acting as that translator from the data on the machine and that we're collecting and that we surface to our clients in our fleet management program, a platform. But then so you've got that kind of interpretation level. But then I think it's really about making it impactful and meaningful. And so we even still are continuing to evolve the way we present that data. What are the 2 or 3 key most important metrics? And how do we translate that in a way that's impactful? So for example, for our customers, utilization is one of the most important things to make sure they're getting their ROI. So manual versus autonomous usage, what does that breakdown look like? And then where is opportunity to increase the autonomous usage? Because that's really where the ROI starts to come into play. That's the multiple there. Right. So that's one really important metric. And then as you start to look at things beyond that, overall acreage, so how much is the machine being used every day? What are the opportunities to then identify where you can increase that so that the machine is mowing, the crew is mowing, and it's continually going, and to really understand kind of what that impact is at the operational level. And then line of sight to the field is sometimes really important depending on how big the organization is. You might have operators who report that they're using the machine and they're using it all that they can, but then when you look at the data, you start to see it's actually not being used at all. They've used it maybe 1 or 2 days, a few hours. We have the actual data present. So there's a breakdown in communication somewhere in there. Those types of metrics, I think, are really critical and important just to increase utilization and make sure that the machine is being productive. But then if you talk about technology at large, there are endless amounts of dashboards you could put up on your screens, right. Endless amounts of things to track. And so I think it really boils down, though, to the same principles is like, what are the critical metrics? What are the important things that we need to be measuring, and distilling it down to just a handful? What are the number of things we want to look at, and what data sources are those coming from? Is it both from our fleet app as well as Aspire's app, for example? Or what are the layers of data that you're looking at, and how does it fit in? Even though it can be costly, taking the time to learn the tools. We're all very busy. I'm guilty of this myself with all the data that we have at Scythe across how many different platforms. But investing the time, once you recognize and realize which of the metrics are the most important, how can you spend, half an hour a week going a little bit deeper on the platforms or the data streams that are the most important, the most relevant to those metrics, so you can start to understand what the functionality of those tools are. How much visibility do they provide into your company and into your operations? Really trying to distill down to not every single dashboard and every single platform, but some exercise of prioritization that can show you what are the data streams that have the most impact on your business or that can provide the most insight to your operations, and then what are the 2 or 3 key metrics that those data streams are feeding into, and then dedicating the time to make sure that you understand all of those.
What are some of the obstacles or resistance you see? Because, you made a good point that if, the owner, for example, might buy into your dream, but then it gets down to the operational level and there's just the resistance, or maybe an issue comes up, they don't have the patience, so suddenly it's sitting in the back of the yard. I mean, what are the things you see, and then how do you, I suppose, overcome some of that that resistance or obstacle?
The first thing we heard and often hear is robots are going to take my job. Thankfully, that narrative changes quickly, or is even kind of disappearing from the conversation once operators and crews see how impactful the machine really is. I think our biggest hurdle as we face deploying is just the resistance to change. People don't like change. Nobody does. I don't. Change creates disruption and it creates friction. And we've got a well-oiled machine that's designed to produce a certain level of efficiency at high efficiency that can cause problems. And so I think all of some of the things that you had mentioned, maybe it's they get impatient with the machine and it's not mowing as fast, or it's creating problems that they didn't have before, whether it's just not being familiar enough with it and understanding how to use it productively and how to use it effectively. All of that's really rooted in this idea of having to change. And so kind of first and foremost is instilling impactful change management processes. And we could have a whole podcast dedicated to that alone. And I'm sure your group can provide really great insight and consulting on how to do that effectively. But really setting the stage of why are we adopting these tools? How it's going to change your operations for the better. Like, electric equipment is great. Folks love it once they start using it. The electric mowers are so quiet. The mower is productive. It mows 1.5 acres to 2 acres an hour. That's pretty fast, all things considered. So the crew, once the crew starts to use it and see and understand why this change is happening, and then start using it and experience the change themselves, that's really kind of the learning curve in the process of getting that adoption to happen. So communicating early what this is going to be like and why, and then getting out and really driving utilization at the field level in a way that increases productivity. And so for us, that's again everything from going into the field with crews to help them understand how to use it best, meeting with production managers and account managers to help them understand how it's being used, just making sure there's visibility across the whole company, and then keeping leadership excited and bought in with the impact. And then from there, getting it used more and getting people excited about it. I think once the machine is out in the field, once operators are using it and feeling productive with it, once they feel like they can do a good job with it, then they start to get bought in. We don't like to do things we're not good at. Like, I don't like golf. Golf is hard and I'm not good at golf, so I just don't like it. Same kind of thing. Like, you don't feel good using tools you don't know how to use. And until you have that confidence and you're producing with it, you're not going to have that level of interest or investment in that tool. Right. So getting folks up to speed quickly and getting them invested in it. And then the last piece kind of down the line from there is getting the end client excited about it. As these machines are being delivered and deployed to companies across the country, contractors that we're working with are able to pitch higher value contracts, whether it's for a quiet crew using electric equipment, or their technologically savvy clients are excited to see robots. It gets those folks at the end of the line really excited and provides value to them and to our customers as well. So that value, that kind of top to bottom value buy-in doesn't just exist within the organization, but then also extends to the end client.
I assume that some people don't do a good enough job of promoting that side of things, where you've got maybe a nice campus and helping just with that, the innovation piece and educating the customer and all the benefits that come along with that. So there's probably a fair bit of work that potentially needs to be done there. So, Billy, I know we're running out of time here. I could definitely talk to you for another hour. You've got some great information coming in. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, just find out more about you, about the product, just to find out some of the exciting things going on with your company that's scaling quickly?
Yeah, we have a lot of activity and information on LinkedIn as kind of our primary social media channel. So if folks are on LinkedIn, that's the best way to see our regular updates. Like just yesterday, we announced hitting the 1 billion square foot mark on LinkedIn,
awesome.
which is really exciting. Thank you. More information about M.52, our reservation program, and kind of everything mower related is on our website, getscythe.com. So people can check that out as well. And then over the next couple of months, we'll be engaging folks across the industry, doing some demos and some road shows in some new regions we hope to open up next year. We'll be announcing those through our website and social media as well. And then lastly, though it seems like it's a ways away, it will be coming quickly. We'll be expoing at the Elevate conference by NALP in North Carolina in November. So that's coming up here quick as well. So folks will have the chance to meet us there.
Cool. Awesome, Billy. Billy, again, really appreciate your time. Nice job with scaling your company, your million square feet. You've got a lot of great stuff, and just love how you're out there educating people and just tell them about your product and how they can learn more, how they can improve their business. So nice job. Thank you, Billy, for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hopefully that was pure dead brilliant for you today, and you got some great Ironman mindset takeaways for your business or your leadership role. This is Robert Clickybeard. Love to get you, your friends, your employees to join us in our future journey. So please subscribe to your various podcast channels. Visit our website, commerciallandscaper.com or wilson-360.com. You could check out our digital courses. You could check out peer groups, coaching, my book, Ironman Mindset for Entrepreneurs. And we just want you to have a pure, dead, brilliant day. And finally, thanks again to Boss Business Management Software, which is the ultimate cloud-based solution providing comprehensive insights and tools to optimize performance. Join the Boss community today and transform your business so you too can say, my boss is working for me. Cheers, everyone.